Enemies to the east. Enemies to the west. Enemies to the south. Enemies to the north. Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it. We're the last Lannisters. The last ones who count.
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And I will.
The King in the North!
Your father and brothers are gone, yet here you stand. Last best hope against the coming storm.
If we don't put aside our enmities and band together, we will die. And then it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne. The Great War is here.
Hey guys, Pete here, and there it is, the first official trailer for Season 7 with actual footage, and it's pretty exciting. Now, as a disclaimer, it's midnight in my part of the world, so I'm going to give a quick breakdown and see what we have. So it opens up with the Lannisters, so we'll talk about them first. So we see Her Majesty the Queen, Cersei, first of her name, coming out and looking over what we find out later is her brand new map room, which is pretty cool. She has a little monologue there, and she talks about how there's enemies closing in on all sides, but they're going to have to take them out. And we see Jaime by her side, who seems to be along for the ride, at least at this point. And Cersei's made her intentions quite clear. She wants to destroy everybody, because they're the last Lannisters, or at least the last ones that count. Now, we do get a little bit of Tyrion in this, and we see him, he's in a field overlooking what I am not exactly sure, honestly. I assume that he's in the region of Dragonstone, or he's looking towards Westeros from somewhere outside. But we also see Drogon fly by, which is our first glimpse of him in full motion. We also see quite a bit of Lannister soldiers engaged in combat. We see them fighting the Dothraki, and we see them with a nice shot of Grey Worm fighting some Lannisters. Now, none of this looks to be in King's Landing as far as I can tell, and everything that we've gotten so far says that it should be at Highgarden, which we're presuming that they will sack, but at the same time, where they're engaged with the Dothraki and everything like that, well, that would be on the way back afterwards. We also got some footage of Arya. We've already seen a couple of pictures of her on horseback, but she seems to be headed north, as we assumed she would be. We don't see anything in this trailer that would indicate that she stays in the Riverlands, but that doesn't mean that she won't, at least at the beginning. Mostly she's wandering around, starting a fire in this one shot, and then we see her looking under a bed, which could be just about anywhere at this point. We get Theon, and we get him in this burning scene, which is tied to this burning ship, I would imagine, and we also see someone jump overboard during that same battle, which again I think will probably be Theon. Most likely this is the sea battle, the big battle at sea between Euron and Theon and Yara Greyjoy, who joined up with Dany. Now we think that Dany will probably split her forces, and these guys will run into Euron and his fleet. Davos does a little bit of narration, and he's talking to what I would guess would be Cersei, explaining that, none of this matters because the White Walkers are coming and everyone has to band together. So we figure that Davos is probably trying to get King's Landing on board with going to war up north. Now, the big thing for a lot of people will be that we see Daenerys arrive at Dragonstone. We see her touch down, we see her touch the sand, and she gives us some speech about how she was born to rule this place, and we see her opening the gates at Dragonstone. We see her on her brand new throne there. And after all this time, we see her arrived. We also see her Dothraki riding into battle, and we, like I said, we do see quite a bit of the Unsullied in this clip. Not to be outdone by the people in the south, King in the north, Jon Snow, is also featured pretty heavily here. We see him in the Great Hall at Winterfell. And then we see something pretty interesting here. We see him, what looks like the crypts, and he's down there with Littlefinger, and he pretty much throttles Littlefinger. He grabs him up, and looks like he's threatening him, but we can't hear what they're saying, obviously. Now, the positioning of this is interesting to me because Littlefinger could possibly know something about Jon's heritage, and where they're at could be near where the statue of his mother is. So that's something to keep in mind for later. I can't say for sure. We also get some other Littlefinger stuff where he's kind of lurking in the background in the Great Hall or somewhere. And we also see him in that scene we've seen several times with Sansa. But he's basically trying to do what you would think he would try to do. He's trying to turn her against her family. Some other notable things we see in the background shots. We see Grey Worm getting it on with Missandei. We heard some rumors about that, and we see her, she's kind of taking his clothes off, and yeah. And we also see Yara Greyjoy and Illyria Sands making out, which I'm not sure where in the timeline that fits. It could be on the ship before the battle, or it could be sometime afterwards, but we're not really, no way to tell there. We see the Mountain in the new Kingsguard armor that Cersei has in place. He looks pretty badass. And we also get a status update on Jorah's grayscale, which looks pretty bad at this point. He's sort of locked away there, probably at the Citadel, I would guess, but, you know, we don't know for sure. We also see Jon running around in the north. We get a little bit of Tormund, and when I say the north, I mean the far north, perhaps north of the Wall, and probably the stuff we saw they were shooting at Wolf Hill Quarry, which would be a showdown where they're trying to capture the White. We sort of see them running, and then we see them circling up in the heavy snow, so things aren't going their way as far as we can tell. I don't know, it's pretty cool all the way around. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there's some stuff I might have missed. There's a scene here where there's a hand and it's toppling the Lannister lion. I think that's Tyrion's hand. If you look at the position of the shoulder, it looks like he's low to the ground there. And I'm trying to think, what is my favorite thing that we see here? I really don't know. It's all pretty cool. I think that I have been excited for this battle at sea. I think it'll look awesome, so it's kind of cool to see that. We see the ship coming in, and then we see it on fire. Oh yeah, and this, I mean, I did not know if we would see Melisandre and we actually get a shot of her. Now it looks like she's hiding out nearby Dragonstone watching things unfold. What does it all mean? I have no idea. Is she invited? Is she just sneaking up, seeing what's going on? Is she following Jon from afar, or is she looking for Daenerys? We really don't have much info on this, and that's exciting to me. The other thing is that what's she going to do whenever she gets there? I mean, both of these people are obvious candidates for her prophecy, so who knows what's going to happen whenever that, maybe she's not even going to really get involved. I hope she does, though. This is probably one of the most exciting things for me. Also, even though I'm not the biggest Daenerys fanboy, I do really like seeing her come home at Dragonstone. There's that shot where her and Tyrion are looking over the map table there, and that's pretty awesome. It's also this quick shot of the wall opening up, and as my inner Bran fanboy comes out, yeah, I like this a lot. I think that's pretty cool. And also all the battle stuff, the Wolf Hill stuff looks cool. The Lannisters, the Dothraki, and the Unsullied all throwing down. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty excited about this whole thing. If it wasn't the middle of the night, I would be super, super excited. But let me know what you guys think. What are you most excited about, and what's your favorite storyline going into this season? Make sure you subscribe to my channel for all my Game of Thrones updates, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.